Alright, so today we're going to start talking about how to use Power BI, a very useful business intelligence tool designed by Microsoft. So first let's open a Power BI file. Okay, you probably have already downloaded it from our Canvas site. So this is gonna be this file we're gonna use today, population, GDP, CO2 by country. Okay, double click. Well, it takes a few seconds for Power BI to load up. It's more resource consuming than the regular Excel, PowerPoint, this type of apps. But well, now it opened. And here, for me, it asked me to install this Azure Maps. I will just ignore it for now. So before we talk about the details, let's take a look at the big picture of this app window. Okay, so what's gonna be the important things? Where are they located? So first of all, look at the top. You see different tabs. Okay, File tab, Home tab, Insert tab. So each tab, once you click them, you'll be lead to a bunch of buttons which has their specific functions. This is pretty much the same as you see in Excel or Word or PPT, right? PowerPoint. You have these tabs and they all have their own functional buttons. Similar here. So we're going to mostly use the Home tab, the Insert tab, the View tab. Later, when we learn more about data modeling, we will also utilize a lot this modeling tab. Okay, so that's the top ribbon of this window. Now let's take a look at the middle section. This big kind of window that shows you the contents of your report. Okay, so this is the one of the report called yearly data. It shows you the population of different countries. Okay, you can also show the CO2 emission from different countries in different years. Okay, as well as GDP. So you see the tab here, yearly data. That's basically this report. Okay, you can choose different report. You can go to the population CO2 GDP overview report. Okay, so now you have again a different graph or different visuals that shows you a different report. So this looks very similar to Excel. Excel have different worksheets, right? And each worksheet will show you different content. So here we just, well, instead of worksheets, we call it report. So let's focus on this report, population CO2 GDP overview. So you can see there's three different graphs. So if you click on one of the graph, all right, and you see, so regarding this graph, we'll have important tools and you know, information shown on these three what we call panes. This is called filter pane, visualization pane, and data pane. Okay, so look at the filter pane. So this visual has the following filters. Okay, regarding continent, continent is all, so there's actually no filter. Okay, country territory is all. So again, well, this is, you can call it filter, but it filters nothing. Okay, everything's allowed. So that's what it means. Okay, every country is gonna be shown in this graph. Every continent is gonna be shown on this graph. Population, there's again no filtering. Okay, all the numbers regarding population will be shown on this graph. Year, however, has a filter. Year is 2010. So other years will be filtered out. Only year 2010 is going to be shown in this graph. Well, this graph, by looking at the title, is called 2010 population by country territory. So, well, of course, by definition, we should show year 2010's data. So that's why the filter is here. Okay, we will learn how to impose filters later. Then the visualization pane here give you different tools to build visualizations. So here we have this graph, and it looks like, again, you can see once you have this graph chosen, click on it, you see it corresponds to this stacked bar chart. Okay, you can choose other type of chart, for example this one. All right, column chart. Then the graph, the shape of the graph changed. Okay, so things like that. You can also choose the pie chart. Okay, so different type of chart you can construct using this build visual pane. And once you build the chart, you can also format it to be more better looking. Okay, using this tab. It's called format visual tab. So there's a lot of details there. You can change the formatting of the y-axis in terms of value, in terms of title, in terms of layout. You can also format x-axis also in terms of range, value, title, all those things, legend. Okay, girl lines, zoom sliders, things like that. You can play with them and make your graph looks better in terms of format. So the last pane is called data pane. Well, here if you click on this, you can shrink it, you can expand it out. Okay, so data pane shows you what data items are being used by this graph or this visual. Okay, so under this visual, you can see here are the data sets. Okay, available here, and the country data set has a check here. Also, population data set has a check here. So if you expand the country data set, you will see the data items that are being used by this visual. The continent, the country territory variables are being used. Okay, and the expand population data set, you will see the population variable or the data field or item is being used by this visual. Okay, so if you click on a different visual, for example, the CO2 level by continent visual, if you click on it, so now this one's chosen. Now you can see the data being utilized by this visual is shown here. It's different, right? Now we have under country, we have continent. Yeah, we don't have the specific country. We just have the continent data being shown in this graph, right? This graph is basically CO2 level by continent. So we don't have country level information. So only the continent variable is being utilized in this visual. Also, the CO2 dataset, you will see CO2 level is another variable being used in this visual. Okay, so data pane basically shows you all the available data sets, and those which have a check are the data items or the data sets that's being used by a specific visual. Right? So another thing I want to point out is located on the left side of the window, you will see three buttons. The first button, report view. That's what we are using now. Okay, we're showing different reports here. So that's report view. You can choose the other two buttons too. Okay, they will give you different information. So here, table view. If you click on table view, all right, the report's just gone. Now we are looking at the table view, which shows you a structure of different data sets. So here you can see the data pane. Now this CO2 emissions data set is chosen, and this thing here, this table here in the middle section, is basically the structure of this data set. Okay, shown as a table. You have country names, year, and their CO2 emission level. Okay, you can move your mouse and see there will be numbers shown here later. Okay, different countries in different years with their CO2 level. Okay, if you click on different data sets, for example, GDP data. Okay, now we move to show the structure of this data set. Different countries, different years, and their GDP amount. Okay, so table will basically give you a way to check the structure, the details of a data set in a kind of in a format of a table. The last one is what we call relationship model view. Okay, it's called model view, but it basically shows the relationships between different data sets available in this Power BI file. So again, we have all the data sets we have here, and in the middle section, it shows the connections or relationships between different data sets. Okay, so let's look at all right, between year and CO2 emissions. Okay, there's a line connecting these two data sets, so they are somehow connected. There's a relationship. If you hover your mouse over this line, okay, just move your mouse here, and the line highlighted as green, you can see the year item, the year field is highlighted. That basically telling you these two data sets are connected by these two variables. Okay, they are called year in both data sets. So year 1990 in this under the year data sets basically corresponds to year 1990 under the CO2 emissions data set. Okay, so yes, if the years equal in the two data sets, then they are being kind of, there's a correspondence between these 2 years. Okay, another thing which is worth mentioning, let's hover our mouse again over this connection line. So you can see here's a number 1 and here's a star symbol. So we already know that these two data sets are connected by the year variables in both data sets. Okay, so this 1 and this star tells you there's a one-to-many correspondence between these two year variables. What does that mean? So let's take a look at the data structure of the two data sets. Let's take first, okay, let's go to the table view so we can see the data structure. Let's first take a look at the year data set. We click on the year data set. So now you can see there's individual years listed here. 1990 just appear once in this data set. Okay, now let's go to CO2 emissions data set. Click on this data and you will see the structure. So here we have, for each country, we have a number of years. Okay, so for each country, you can see there's a number of years. So year 1990 appears here for this country, American Samoa. Also, it appears here for Andorra, appears here for Armenia, and so on. All right, so year 1990 will appear multiple times, each time for a specific country. So that's why we have a correspondence like this. We call it one-to-many correspondence, because we see 1 year 1990 under the year data set. However, once we get to the CO2 emissions data set, the corresponding year 1990 will appear multiple times there. Okay, so that's kind of one-to-many correspondence or relationships. So that's kind of the what we call the model view of the data sets. Shows you the connections and whether there's a one-to-many connection or a one-to-one connection.